According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the second marriages have a higher failure rate than the first marriage. So before getting married again, here's what you need to know. The first thing is to determine why the first marriage failed. This one is so important because if you don't figure out the why, then you're never going to understand or eliminate any chances of this new marriage not failing again. You really must determine why the last one failed and what part you actually played in it, because we have a tendency to point. That is pointing the finger and blaming our spouse for our shortcomings or the relationship failing, when in fact he may have played a part, but guess what? You were there too. So certainly you played a part in why the marriage failed as well. And I know that that is hard to come to grips with, especially when you're so used to pointing the finger. But that is the thing. We have to reflect on what it is that we did. Forget about what he did or didn't do. What did you do? What didn't you do? How was your tone of voice? How was your timing? Think about the things that you can correct and control, and then start to change those things. So why didn't your first marriage work out? The second thing that you must consider is, are you emotionally available for this new marriage? Or are you holding on and harboring resentment about your ex-spouse? So you have all of these feelings about your ex-spouse, and it leads into you putting all men into one box. And every man does not deserve to be in one box. But here's the thing. If you do not get rid of all of those bad feelings about your ex, you're going to carry this baggage into this relationship, into this marriage, and guess what? This marriage will fail too. That's the truth of the matter. Because if you don't start to heal and start to really figure out and understand, you know what? Dang, I thought I was emotionally available, but I'm actually not. I thought that I was ready to allow my guards down and allow somebody to fully come into my heart, but I'm not. Until you can really have those truthful conversations with yourself about yourself, then the relationship that you're trying to get into or are already in, that's probably on rocky ground right now, that you're trying to say I do to, is going to fail. Just is. It's going to fail. You have to slow it down and really have those tough conversations with yourself. So asking yourself, am I emotionally available? Am I really ready to give all that it takes in order for this marriage to work? Am I ready to give and make this person and this marriage a priority, the priority that it deserves, in order for me to decrease the chances of this marriage failing? Are you really ready to do that? And if you are, great. But a lot of people are not. And they're wondering why this marriage is failing or this relationship is failing. And a lot of it is because you have yet to heal and to eliminate the toxic stuff, i.e. baggage, that you're bringing into this marriage. Number 3 is, will you be able to make this relationship and or marriage a priority? Maybe your timing was off. And what I mean by that is maybe you spent more time with your girlfriends. Maybe you spent more time with your career, and you were not giving the previous marriage the time, energy, and effort that it actually deserved. And so realistically, are you ready to give this particular future marriage what it takes? The time, energy, and effort to go all in. Number 4, asking how your communication is. If your communication is not your strong suit, you absolutely need to hold off on before you get married, because one of the things that we hear all of the complaints about is that communication is key. And if you are not able to articulate your needs, your wants, your desires, share your feelings openly, be honest about the topic, whether your partner agrees or not about it, then you're going to have a tough time with this relationship being very cohesive and the two of you staying connected. If this is not your strong suit, work on this. Be better at this before you walk down the aisle. And guess what? Years later, you will be divorced once again. Don't do that to yourself. Learn how to be an effective communicator. And it's Literally, you can practice with just speaking to any and everybody. It doesn't have to be your spouse. However, it's harder for a lot of people to communicate the very things that they need to say to their spouse because of their feelings and the things that they believe that their spouse is going to take away from it or not, how he is going to react or not. But you must be able to articulate and communicate the things that you want, need, and desire in order for them to really understand who you are, why you are, and the both of you can now converse about the said topic. So communication, it is the key. If you suck at communication, don't say I do. The fifth thing to take into consideration is trust. Do you trust this new partner or potential spouse? Do you trust them? If you have anything in your gut that says no, then you are not ready to say I do, and that's okay. Now it's time to go with some clarifying questions to see if their answers make you trust what they were saying previously that brought the doubt in your mind. Number 6 is to try to address the issue as soon as possible. Sometimes you can't address the issue as soon as possible because you're busy, you may be around a lot of people, or you may just be pissed off, right? Your pissivity may be super high and you cannot address it right then and there. So allow yourself to calm down, wait for the right time, but do address the issue, because if you don't, then it's just going to be swept under the rug, and guess what? At some point, you're going to start tripping over the issues in your relationship, especially when you're thinking about saying I do once again. You want to be very, very careful about said partner that you're about to say I do to start a new life with. The 7th and final thing that you should be thinking about before you get married again is asking yourself if you're really ready. Literally have a conversation with you to say, am I really ready to get married again? Or am I just doing this so I don't feel lonely? Or am I just doing this because everybody keeps saying I should be over this? Or am I just doing this for reasons outside of yourself? Am I doing this because I feel like it's the next thing to do versus I really want to live the rest of my life with this particular person? Really evaluate and reflect if this is something that you want to do. Now that you know the things that you should do before you get married again, check out this video up here because it's going to add even more value, which is the 5 things that every woman should know about men. I'll see you over there.